start off some angry music after we left the podcast last week all angry. We have never had anybody walk out on us before. Yeah, they couldn't take the heat of having a conversation.
What was the conversation about?
Gun control.
But we do always offer redemption.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to come back.
The guest did come back after we finished recording, and he was okay after that. We made up.
You just got upset because you guys were talking shit about his.
Because we were making valid points, and we were asking him questions that he couldn't answer.
So just let you know, if every worker in every fast food place or gas station carried a gun, there wouldn't be any robberies.
Okay.
I'm just joking.
I was about to go.
Oh, okay.
Wow, God, I got like an echo here. Let me correct that. Drive me nuts. Not something stern.
I don't hear it.
I can hear it.
Oh,
It's just in my headphones.
Oh, you've got the bump ones.
No, I fixed it by moving that dial. No, we do have to say redemption and admit when we're wrong. In Arizona, you do not have to, in a personal firearm sale, go to a gun dealer to do the paperwork. You can download the form, fill it out, and submit it. I was wrong about that.
I asked some other people too. I don't think you even need to do that. Like, you can just sell guns to your friends.
You're supposed to fill out a form. You're supposed.
Like, I like shooting guns, but I had no idea all this stuff exists. I don't know.
You can't just file off the serial number and.
That'd make a ghost gun.
Yeah.
I mean, you technically you could do that.
Trump special.
Although
you probably still can do that.
Although,
I mean, has that law changed?
Although, did you know you have to be 21 to buy a handgun in Arizona?
But you have to be 18 to buy a rifle?
Correct.
Because that makes sense.
Then also you can't have your medical marijuana card and own a firearm?
Right, that is true also. No, but now that marijuana is legal, is that still...
There's still laws.
I don't think they changed that law, though. I don't think they altered that law because you cannot be under the influence of the drugs or be a drug user. That's how the terminology is. You can't be a drug user and own a firearm.
Well, and there's still a lot of strict laws with marijuana, like how many plants you can have, how much you can carry on your person. There's still some strict laws with
6 plants
marijuana.
at your house.
Yeah.
Locked up.
6 plants for one person. If there's another person that lives there, 12 plants. Anyone after that, it stops at 12 plants. You can't go 6 more plants.
But it's also stupid because you can only have so many ounces from that plant.
It's like I just learned this, and I'm already
For the listeners,
like
and
2.85 or something.
It's something ridiculous.
For the listeners, we got Chris Lay from the Swillers here.
Oh yeah, we have friends.
We got Ronnie J. He's organizing Pride. Yeah, first time on the podcast.
Yeah. That's
Welcome.
like
We have a new friend.
Welcome.
Should I just put this on a coaster because it's just?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to ruin your thing, so.
No, here I am.
I look more
being
fancier
bad.
like
It's
I have
right
a
next
coaster.
to the coaster.
Plus the microphones, they really pick up that
Oh, yeah.
sound when you. All right, so get back to that shooting last week. The only infuriating thing is the police keep on changing their story.
That's the thing that pisses me off. That's the thing that I'm most upset about this shooting is, like, if you're going to sit there and tell us that what defeats the bad guys with the guns are the good guys with the guns, then fucking prove it to me.
Yeah.
Because I want to get on board with this. I want you to be right. Because I want a solution for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have a whole trained police force in this city who didn't go into, like, one of the parents I heard was arrested because she tried to go in and get her child, and they
Handcuffed.
wouldn't let her, and then they sent border control in to handle the situation.
Well, some of the police were allowed to go in and get their kids out of the rooms that weren't right in the lockdown area where the shooter was.
But not the
'cause it's
regular
barricaded.
folks.
Not the regular kids.
See,
yeah.
that's bullshit. Like, they're trained to do this job.
And then they're blaming the teacher, saying that the door never locked.
And she did close the door, but it didn't lock. But due to a malfunction on the door didn't lock.
So, but that's the NRA's point is if the door had locked, it's a lock on a door against a gun. I don't care if the door's locked. If somebody wants in, they're getting in.
Basically.
You know?
So the NRA stepped in and made a comment about this, but they wouldn't make a comment about the whole Philando Castile telling them that he was a legal gun owner.
Right.
They said nothing.
Yeah, and that's another one that our guest from last week got mad at us because we brought up that fact.
I don't know. I think the whole school thing. I don't think nobody's gonna. You can't come up with a solution to fix
No, there is no
kids going
solution.
in and shooting up schools,
That's not
or
gonna-
people going in and shooting up schools. Because one, it's like they don't want to have an armed police officer there, just in case something happens. I mean, you'd figure like it's been a constant thing the last 20 years. It's like
Yeah, and,
every year is like 2 or 3 school shootings.
and you don't want to arm the teachers either.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we arm the teachers. It's like, really? It's like, well, they're going to have to pay for their own gun. They're going to have to pay for their own training.
And they don't
They
want
already
Yeah.
have to pay for their own school supplies.
And how many teachers are going to pistol whip a kid?
Yeah. I had my music teacher. He was like my favorite teacher, but one day he flipped out and he threw a desk across the room.
Like the guy in that drumming movie. Remember the J.K. Simmons movie? It was a good movie. It's like he kept yelling at the kid to do the drums right.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
He had a music teacher like that.
Speaking of movies, I saw Top Gun.
Uh,
Yeah, I knew that would be your reaction.
I haven't seen it.
okay. So,
I thought it was great.
I'll watch it. when it
one,
comes
Top
on.
Gun wasn't even that great of a movie in the 80s. Also,
Blasphemy.
and also, Maverick, the only dude, his dad was a Vietnam veteran who got killed.
Right.
Maverick never fought in any war. He's never been to war. Even in the new movie, they talked about him never seeing combat.
Yeah, but he shot down 3 MiGs in the first movie.
Prove it.
They showed it on screen.
You'd have to watch
Yeah, but that
it.
wasn't combat.
I mean, but big ups to Tom Cruise being 60 years old and still trying to be an action star.
I guess. But I
Hey,
don't
he can
know.
still run.
His love interest
60.
wasn't invited to the movie
I
because
mean-
at 62 she's too old to be a love interest in a movie.
I guess.
And Jennifer Connelly looked okay for 51.
Jennifer Connelly's so hot.
Oh, yeah.
She was.
She's
Labyrinth?
aged really
She
well.
knows no age.
She
Labyrinth?
probably looks better now than. I probably shouldn't say that, but I mean, I think she looks even better now than she did in her younger years. Honestly, I'm like, she's doing what men do. Like, men get,
Yeah.
like George Clooney gets even hotter
Distinguished.
with age.
Distinguished?
Yeah. She's like a woman that can do it. Yes.
Hey, the flight sequences were awesome in that movie.
But, I mean, I don't know. He never fought anymore. Where was he during Desert Storm? Maverick wasn't around.
Would he be tall enough to be a soldier? Is there a height requirement? 'Cause he's only like 5'4".
Really?
Is he tall enough just to be a man?
He is 5'9".
No, he's 5'4".
Tom Cruise?
5'9" is his stage height.
Did you know that,
He's,
Because I mean, Nicole Kidman was always taller than him when they were married, but
He was
she's
probably
like
standing on top of the
5'10".
curb and she was down here.
Or he
She-
had
she was on the
lifts
street.
on. He had those kitten heels.
I just can't take it serious. I'm just like, everybody's like, oh, he's Maverick, this badass fighter pilot. It's like, was he in any wars? It wasn't like he was like some decorated war hero. They're like,
No,
oh, that's
no,
Maverick.
well, no,
He's
he's
decorated war
he's
hero.
still just a captain in the movie. He never got promoted because he's always
'Cause he's
doing
a rebel.
Maverick shit.
He's like, I'm Maverick. I do rebel shit. Maverick, we need you during Desert Storm and the Gulf War. Oh, where's he at? Oh, he just disappeared.
Oh no, they did say during Maverick they say he was deployed.
Deployed?
during the wars.
Yeah, they have to come up with something.
deployed to Honolulu,
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah, in San Diego,
Yeah,
where it was
all
filmed
that
at.
time off, huh?
Whatever. Hey, they are saying. Well, one particular representative is saying the success of Top Gun Maverick means the Republicans are clean up in the midterm elections because America is tired of being so woke.
How do they come to that conclusion?
Because it's Maverick. He's a man. He does manly
Oh,
thing like fly manly
Maverick,
airplanes
and
and
then
blows
there's,
enemy
the
shit
John
up.
McCain tie-in, but John McCain, before he died,
He's a
went
rhino.
against
But it was Sarah Palin who was the maverick. Not John McCain. It was because she can see Russia
He's a
from her house.
maverick.
Whatever happened to her?
She's running for Congress
She is running for something.
or Senate. One of them. One of those big words I don't care about.
One of my friends from Alaska told me that.
Yeah, she lost.
That's her.
She lost the defamation trial against the New York Times.
She did, and she went out to restaurant. I remember when that happened because she went out to all these restaurants knowing that she had COVID and still went out and infected folks.
Well, she had a gun, or if everybody had guns, they could just shoot COVID.
Yeah. The greatest thing about Sarah Palin coming back is it means that Tina Fey is going to have a second coming.
Ooh,
Thank God.
what about that adult film star who did all those spoofs on her?
Oh, Nayland Palin.
Yeah, she was so hot.
I didn't.
She looked just like her too, pretty damn close.
But it wasn't an Alaskan accent. It was like Minnesotan.
Yeah.
You don't want some cheese curds? I can't do accents. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Getting railed. Don't you know? It was
Yeah,
amazing.
and the okay.
Yeah. Oh,
It's really close to the Fargo accent kind of, but there's a little
you
bit
gotta
of
mix up a
dialect.
little more hypocrisy. Just like a little bit more.
Turn more of that.
And to wrap up the current events, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial's over.
Oh, thank God.
Did you hear? Did you hear the verdict?
No, because
They found her guilty of libel.
okay, I would say that towards the end, I was like, she really is sounding more like a shitty person than she did in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, that's the key word there, shitty person.
Right? Oh, yeah, definitely. But she just sounded like the last thing I had heard, and I'm like, ooh, that's not going to be good for you, was when they called Kate Moss to be a witness. And I was like, yeah, why aren't they asking a lot of Johnny Depp's ex-girlfriends if he hit them or whatnot? And she lied about the whole stair incident. She tried to say that Kate Moss was pushed, and then Kate Moss said, no, I actually fell down the stairs, and he's the one that called and got me help.
Who, for 54, Kate Moss looked incredible via Zoom. Her skin's tight, glowing, hair nice.
I did not see her, but she was always one of my favorite supermodels.
She was
From the
looking
90s.
incredible.
Yeah. She was a Calvin Klein model.
I seriously doubt Amber Heard has $10 million to pay Johnny Depp.
Dude, how many movies has she been in? Like 3 or 4?
She's fucked.
Aquaman?
And she's
Aquaman.
always like, she's not like, I don't think she's ever like a starring lead. Is she?
No,
She's
no.
always like a.
Dude, she basically ruined Johnny Depp's career.
Yeah.
It's like,
Which is worth more than $10 million.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a shit. I still like Johnny Depp. I still think Johnny Depp's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an
Yeah.
American sweetheart, like everyone.
Plus, he's sexy as fuck. He's Johnny Depp.
He's Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Dude, Blow. God, that's such a good
Oh
movie.
yeah, Blow was great.
Hey, I liked him ever since Nightmare on Elm Street when he got sucked into that bed
Yeah.
and blown all over the
Oh, yeah.
ceiling.
It's like he was here a couple times when they were doing film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, because they filmed that like just north of the airport.
Oh, they filmed it at the airport.
At the airport.
Yeah, at the
That
very
is
end,
a
they're
really
driving down the
good
road.
movie that most people, if you talk to, they hate that movie. And
It's
I'm
a
like,
great movie.
why would you?
But funny
First
thing
off,
is,
it has
so
Benicio del Toro in it.
oh yeah.
How would you like anything with him in it?
Funny thing is so my son started like smoking pot, and we ended up finding out about stuff, but we were just like, well, you know, he's not a pill popper, whatever. And I had Fear and Loathing on DVD, and you know, all of his friends are like, oh, fucking Fear and Loathing drug movie, and he's like, one night him and his friends are hanging out, they're like, we're gonna watch this whole movie, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna get past the first hotel. And sure enough, they did not get past the first hotel. They ended up like falling asleep, and he woke up, and I was like, dude, you didn't see this part? Well, no. I'm like, that's a second hotel. He's like, there's a second hotel? I'm like, yeah, the movie's like 3 hours long, man.
It's a long one.
Wow. Well, Hunter S. Thompson was a pretty fascinating person, though. So I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah. Well, the Rum Diaries too is another one where he played
I love
Nurse
that.
Thompson.
One of my favorite lines ever is the line that he says about human beings are the only creatures who claim a god and the only ones who pretend as though they haven't got one. I'm like, that is so fucking true. So true.
Oh, we got one more. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Did you hear her blunder this weekend? What was it this
Thank
weekend?
God, no, I didn't.
Okay. All right. Well, she went on her whatever, her Twitter or whatever she does. And she was talking about how Bill Gates wants everybody to eat fake meat. And wants everybody to get away from cows and we're all be eating fake meat that's made in peach tree dishes.
Wait a second. I thought that they always blame this on AOC and the cow farts and all that.
Well, it's the same logic, but no, she said peach tree dishes.
Oh, instead of peachy.
Well,
Yeah.
that's also how the gays are going to have babies.
Oh, she did say that. She did say that.
Yeah, she is.
Or we're going to go extinct in the next 200 years because we're just all going to turn gay.
Everyone's
Can't
turning
we
gay.
just get the gazpacho police on everyone to
Yeah.
solve it?
Isn't gazpacho also cold soup?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, 'cause
Gazpacho.
I didn't want to look it up and fact check it myself because I didn't want to be wrong, but in my heart, I knew that there was cold soup police who were going to get all the conservatives. And it's going to be an amazing day.
I know, that's why they were doing when she did that, they were doing the whole soup Nazi from Seinfeld. No soup for you.
Is that why Trump's also afraid of canned soup?
Is he?
Yeah, because he said he doesn't like to go to riots because canned vegetables and soup.
Oh, because you can throw them. Oh, yeah.
I never thought about that, but you could.
You know, if
be
we
right.
actually ended up giving teachers canned soup
Instead of guns.
instead of guns,
defend school shooters.
defend school shooters.
Because he told
Against
me,
school shooters, not defend school shooters.
Yes.
That's what we need. We need more
Or-
canned food drives
or-
to save the schools.
Nobody can stop a bad guy with a gun except a good guy with a can of soup.
Right.
that needs to be on a t-shirt.
I think we have a whole new campaign here, folks.
I don't know. Did you see that? You said one video that guy smacks that crackhead looking guy with that Twisted Tea can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Stop that! Actually, I don't know. That guy actually ended up getting back up. No,
It's because it was twisted tea,
Twisted
not
tea,
soup.
not soup.
Or green beans. Green beans
green
would
beans.
knock them out.
Oh, one of those big ass can of green beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait. We should probably have one of the chunky soups. Those are bigger than the standard soups. More punch. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna bring to Pride. Is just a big bag full of canned vegetables and soup, just in case there's rioters.
Yeah.
You could tell Ronnie does podcasts because he knows how to do the transition
Oh, I did. Inherently.
right into Pride.
That would be pretty funny though. Someone out there just standing around with a sign, and you just launch a can of beans in them, crack them right in the face.
Could you? Maybe you could make it even better if you use like one of those T-shirt launchers. But
Ooh,
for
that'd
soup,
kill
you
somebody.
can't? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we don't want to kill.
At that point, we're back to guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, that is guns.
that's his.
Yeah.
Maybe we should give the teachers though if we're planning on doing.
We should give them T-shirt launchers
For the
with
soup
failed
cans.
campaign T-shirts.
There you go.
So the gunman comes in, you shoot them with a "Let's Go Brandon" shirt. Just, and then everybody's happy, right?
Yeah, packs a punch.
Speaking of which, your neighbors down the street, that's a lot of flags.
Oh, do you know who he
That,
is?
so do you know who that is?
Do you know who it is? Okay, think about the area we live in.
And where he might have gotten those from.
Yes. A little shop, right?
No!
That's
Yeah.
painted similarly to the house.
That's all he
That
has.
is the owner.
That's what that is.
That's such a beautiful home for such a piece of shit.
I know. And I didn't know that until like years after I'm like, oh my, that guy is my fucking neighbor? I'm like, are you kidding me?
Heritage, not hate.
You know, and for the longest time, he just had the American flag up, but he must be going through a real pissed off phase. It might be the gas prices. And they tend to blame the president ridiculously, but that might be why the other flags have now been put back up. Because he was like pretty mellowed out for a while, and I was like, oh, good.
Lord and
he's not-
Savior Trump.
Yeah.
No, he didn't even have his Trump shit up like for a good 6 months,
Really?
I think. And
I tried not to
then
pay
he
attention.
shoved all those things back in. I think he even brought a couple more flag hooks to hang out like on the outside perimeter now, because he has like 3 on the house and then 2 more out there to let everyone
So
know.
what do you need a flag? Is that just to show you're supporting? Like, not like why do you need
An
a flag? But it's
asshole.
like when you have like 15 flags like on front of your house, you're just like, look at me.
We live in a town where everyone wants to drive a lifted F-350
Yeah.
with 45 American flags, none of which are clean
Oh, yeah.
or taken care of. And I guarantee you they do not take those down every night and fold them.
Oh no.
They do not keep them lit at night.
No.
So all these fake patriots running around with flags, and they put them on their cars, they put them on their clothes, and then you talk to them about flag code and the code of conduct.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, this is different.
You can't wear flags or anything.
So,
Yeah.
especially in this town where you look at these flags that are on these cars and they're all tattered.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not, now you can buy a 49 star flag, which is decorative. That's actually what Disney does, so they don't have to take theirs down. None of the Disney, I love Disney by the way, none of their flags have 50 stars on them, except
Okay.
for the main flag of Main Street. And that's the only one that goes down every night and gets put up every morning. All their other
I
flags
did not know
have
that.
49 stars, so they don't have to take them down.
So I have a question. What state do you think Disney's trying to be like, oh, we'll just, I think it's maybe Florida. Because they're,
Well, what's crazy is the first state that said, hey, Disney, move over here was Texas. And Disney's like, yo, we don't want to be there either. Not right now.
okay.
But I don't think Disney's actually caring about the political thing. They just realize how much money they're going to lose if they piss off too many angry Disney folks.
Well, I don't know. You get this whole thing that Disney is like woke now and all sort of stuff. Like, oh, they have there's a black lady in the new Obi-Wan show that and she's like part of the
James Earl
Empire.
Jones did Darth Vader's voice.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
And Billy D. Williams.
Yeah,
What-
Billy D. Williams.
I forget his character's name, but he's in the original movies.
And then they talk about relationships.
What the fuck are they talking
It's Landau Calrissian.
Let's not
That's the
forget
most
that.
blackest name ever.
And all the weird creatures that are like in the bar, it's like they love everyone,
Yeah.
even the non-humans.
Even
that-
Star Trek. In the 60s, Star Trek tackled interracial marriages,
Oh, yeah.
same-sex marriage.
Right.
They tackled all that in the 60s. The new writing on Star Trek is nothing new. They're pulling stories from the original.
Oh yeah.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah, didn't they have like the first interracial kiss?
Yeah, it was Kirk
on
and,
TV?
Uhura.
Uhura.
I
Uhura.
made the dress for
Uhura.
my mom years ago.
Uhura,
Uhura.
Uhura, something.
Uhura, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The world is ridiculous right now.
It is
because
crazy.
People are getting offended. It's like people get offended by the dumbest things, but they don't get offended by stuff you would actually feel like you should get offended by. It's like
19 kids being
Right.
shot. That's normal. We need to keep our guns. Disney no longer producing a racist movie like a Song of the West.
Song of the South.
Song of the South,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's been a long day.
Oh yeah, not a
But
problem.
Song of the South. And people are mad that they're like, this movie will never be on Disney Plus, and we're going to change Splash Mountain to be more inclusive. People are mad about that.
Yeah.
19 dead children. And the NRA says, oh, the teacher should have locked the door.
Right. But it's not really, I don't think there was an outcry of people that said, well, you can't have this movie. It's just Disney made the decision to, hey, we think it, and they decided not to do it. Just like Aunt Jemima didn't change their labeling because of everybody was offended. But they blame the wokeness on that. And it's just a company going, nah, that's a poor marketing
Well, the
move.
same thing happened with Seuss.
And the potato head.
And well, yeah, but it goes back years. Speedy Gonzalez, you don't see him anymore because it had those, what is little buddy there, Slowpoke Rodriguez or whatever. It was stereotypical against Mexicans, and Warner Brothers says, we're not going to show this anymore.
And it's like, I just can't believe there's so many people out there who are like, they're so sad that some of those things are gone. It's like you forgot about those things like years ago.
Yeah.
When's the last time you actually watched the Speedy Gonzalez cartoon? I mean,
Even TV shows. So I like to watch shows I watched 10 years ago because I have no life and I'm very boring. So I went back and I started watching Ugly Betty. when Ugly Betty was on TV, it was considered groundbreaking. They had gay characters, there was a trans character who had transitioned. And when I watched it the first, I'm like, this is incredible. Look at this representation. But now you go back and you watch it with where the world's at and being a little bit more aware of social engineering and how we are as people. And I'm sitting there watching, I go, that joke's not that funny anymore. Or, ooh, that couldn't get away now. It's not that people are like ashamed of what they used to do. It's that we're learning to be nicer.
Right.
One side of the world is learning how to be nicer.
And we're learning to get past jokes. I mean, how many times have you been around, like, this is sad to say, but like old dudes, like my dad, he'll tell the same tired jokes and it's like, that used to be funny. It's just, there's new jokes now. Like,
Yeah, we're past that.
it's, that's how things progress. It's like, it's just not really that funny anymore. But it's like they'll still tell the same jokes and then they get mad if you don't laugh. And you're like, I've already heard that joke, though.
You know what, though? The opposite of that, though, is watching that George Carlin documentary on HBO. It's the opposite effect with George Carlin, because now you listen to what he said 20, 30 years ago, and you're going, holy shit, that's more relevant than ever right
It's
now.
like he's like groundbreaking and he's dead.
Yeah, he's like a prophet.
It's
He
like,
did play, what's it called?
Yeah, Bill and Ted said,
Well, he wasn't
yeah.
really a prophet, but maybe. Let's get-
Well, no, he could have used that phone booth,
Yeah.
which we don't have anymore,
Yeah.
and go back.
Rufus.
And Rufus,
Yeah, it's
name,
Rufus.
name my dog.
and he was the character in Dogma that knew, like, remember he was the one explaining all about, like,
Yeah, he
Buddy
was-
Christ.
Yeah, he was,
and
what's it called?
He's new and evolved.
He was a priest. He was a
Okay.
Catholic priest. I think,
Yeah.
a Roman Catholic priest or something like that.
I remember when he was trying to tell Jay and Silent Bob, you're going about it all wrong. And then he goes down, like, on the nun to get the ride or whatever.
Gosh.
Oh, shit. All right, so Pride.
Pride.
Coming up. What is that? Like,
Basically a week and like 2
days.
days, yeah.
yeah, we've been trying to do this podcast for weeks.
When's the
and-
official date?
June 11th and 12th.
Okay.
Right here at Metcalf Park from 11 to 8, both days. We also have an after party Saturday night starting at 9 p.m. at Blackbridge Brewery.
And is that the drag show?
So
Okay.
this year we have drag during both day events and the after party.
Okay, cool.
So we have entertainers from all over Phoenix and Tucson coming. We have local people performing. We have live bands.
The Swillers.
In fact, Chris is basically
Yeah, well.
headlining the closing act both nights.
Just easier to like that. You know, you just get done playing, you wrap all your stuff up, you're like, all right, I'm done. I'm done for the night.
And the Swillers should be closing.
Yeah, Swiller's on
No.
Saturday and Ghostwood Murders on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's been 3 years since we did our first one.
Right.
So
yeah.
Right.
2019.
Yeah.
And, I was telling Willow, she was on a couple episodes ago, of how awesome that was, and it kind of restored the faith in the community here.
We've had people who told us that they were literally packing up and getting ready to move.
I was there. I was, yeah.
And because we were starting, they've stayed. And for as much as Pride has done just being visible, I think a lot of people don't know that we also have 3 charities that we operate. In the background, we're not very vocal about because they just kind of, we're very fortunate that we all have our own duties that we take care of. But we also do the Human Kindness Campaign, where we do outreach for people experiencing houselessness. And we provide them with hygiene products, food. We've gotten to send 3 or 4 people back home with Greyhound tickets, gotten them in touch with family members, and we're able to get them back home after they got stranded here. We also do the Period Project. Arizona is probably the second worst state to live in if you are someone who has periods and no money, because there are no programs here to provide you for hygiene products. The schools do not have funding to maintain tampons and maxi pads. So we actually drop off at our schools too for a Period Project.
But that's fun guns in schools.
Oh yeah,
So
but every teacher needs a gun.
Yeah.
But they also don't want to pay teachers more than an armed security guard makes.
And we can't stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then we do the Family Festivity Project, which is our holiday program. And depending on the family's needs, we provide everything from Christmas trees and ornaments to food vouchers to gifts for the kids, hygiene products, whatever we get donated.
And is there a website people can go to find all this stuff?
Basically,
or-
everything's on hobbypride.com.
Okay.
We're technically called the And Then Initiative, which sounded like a great name at the end of a 12-hour meeting and 12-hour day. But then we realized no one can spell initiative anymore. So that's why we're just commonly called Mojave Pride. But technically, our nonprofit, for people who do like to research and make sure we're valid, our nonprofit is the And Then Initiative.
And how did this all come about? I mean, I think Willow was explained, and we didn't really get into it because we thought she would be back with you on this and we would talk more about it. But she'd gone to a Pride festival in another town.
Yeah. So out of the 5 board members that we currently have, I'm probably the gayest. So I've been to the most prides. And Willow was there with her company at Vegas Pride. And they were vending there with her face painting and the painting stuff. And Gideon and I had gone just for a vacation for 2 days out of town. And we ended up seeing them. We walked in, took over their booth. They had a line. We cut and got covered in glitter that one party. On the way home, everyone kind of had the same thought that it wasn't that great of an event. You paid $30 to go in. It was crowded. There was no community. There was no learning. There wasn't really any safe space for the kids to be. It was just basically you paid a lot of money to be at a park and drink. And we wanted to do something that was a little bit more family oriented and maybe a little bit more classic and simple. That was the goal. So we started in January of 2019. We had a meeting at the wine bar downtown. And within 6 months, we put together our very first Pride, which we really had no idea what we were doing. Still don't, because this is only our second time doing it in person. But we made the attempt. We did all the research to find out that we do everything legally and earnestly, because we knew that we're fighting an uphill battle. Especially in the area that we're in, it's a red state. People are very quick to tell us that they're going to call the city and have us shut down, or they're going to protest. So
Did you guys have that here?
we have threats of protest at every event we've ever done. We have been blessed so far that we haven't had a single protester.
So they're just like keyboard
They're keyboard
warriors.
warriors.
Okay.
But we always tell our volunteers, if you see someone there protesting, we do not engage them. Come get a board member. We're going to walk over with a bottle of water and sunscreen. Everybody is welcome at our table. You don't have to eat with us, but you're welcome to sit down and join us. And that's just kind of our aspect. Mojave Pride is not, we're not commercial. We're not adult catering. We just want people to know that they're welcome here. And that if, you have people who care about you. So the first Mojave Pride, I think we all had to take moments throughout the day and collect ourselves emotionally, because we weren't expecting so many young kids,
Right.
so many teenagers who you could just tell for the first time in their lives they felt like they belonged somewhere, and it was kind of magical to see. We had a great support. The Swoolers played there
It was fun. I
in the middle
enjoyed
of the
it.
day. And
No, that was one of the best events I've ever been to in Kingman.
Yeah, I felt like it was put on pretty decently, just like the way it was ran pretty smoothly.
yeah, and
Because I've
we-
been to a lot of events where you're just like, oh my god, this is a shit show. But
So I think it's because we all have different backgrounds. So I grew up doing swap meets and flea markets and those kind of vendor events. Willow, with her business, she's done a lot of these corporate and daytime barbecues and stuff like that. So she knows it as a vendor. And because I've gone to so many events, I was like, well, this is what I wish it was ran. So when you put those 5 minds together, it makes it really easy to come up with a plan line.
yeah,
And then we're very lucky. A lot of times when you have a board that has more than 3 or 4 people, there's a lot of infighting or a lot of arguing. We luckily don't have that. We're all, it's not about us, it's about what we're doing for the community. Everybody's good at what they do, If we need help, there's not a question about asking for it. So we're very lucky. I'm technically our treasurer. I have no access to the money just so everything stays honest and easy, and I like it. It's a lot of work. And what most people don't know is we all own our own businesses too. So a lot of us are working 60 or 70 hours a week on top of the Pride Parade.
And how many hours
You
does
guys
that
are
take?
heroes doing all
Oh.
that. Wow.
It could be
Like how long does it take?
Probably
Number
like an
one.
all-day thing, huh? It's just like
every
managing
day.
another business.
Every day is something new. So like this morning I woke up and we had lost a food vendor. I have a vendor who said that they never got their packet. So in the middle of driving between jobs, I'm also trying
Pile
to find
fires.
paperwork and just make sure people know they're taken care of. But then you'll go, when we don't have an active event, it's one meeting a month. But the 6 months before Pride, it's probably an extra 15 to 20 hours a week for each of us, minimum. This next week, it's going to be a lot more. So, but we do have I don't know when this goes live when you guys broadcast, we do have
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was getting ready to ask you something, and then I was like, wait, listen.
we do have a volunteer meeting this Friday at 3 at Metcalf Park.
Okay.
And then next Friday, a lot of volunteers help set up. So, because we've rented the park for Friday to Sunday
Okay.
with security and everything.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask. Willow had mentioned to us that we could get a booth. She had a really good idea too. It was like tell your story kind of thing.
Oh.
And then we're going to
Yeah,
do
we brought those up. Yeah.
the podcast live so people can come and talk to us. So I think we needed more information on that, right?
Yeah. We'll get with Ronnie off air and
But
talk about
with no
those details
stress, I
there.
just had a vendor drop out and ask me to donate their spot to someone else who might be able to use it.
Oh,
Wink,
okay.
hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that'd be kind of cool. I mean,
But we'll still donate to the
You gotta come talk to us
fund.
too.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I can still
When
run
you
over
have a
there.
break.
And we say quote unquote live. It's not technically live. We'll be there. We'll be recording. Signage. I don't know. We need someone to help with signage because I'm a horrible artist. Maybe my kids could help. Just to come up, we'll set up this equipment, and just anybody that wants to come up, tell their story, and whatever. Talk about whatever they want to talk about.
So I think that's incredible because I know the first few times that, especially if you didn't have the easiest time to come out, the first couple times that you're able to tell your story and about the process and what it took to get you to where you are, it's so incredibly freeing. And I think that's why Pride is so important to myself, is I grew up here. And when I was in high school, I was the only out gay student at Kingman High School North Campus.
Oh my God, how many boobs did you see? You probably saw tons of boobs.
So here's what's when South Carolina, I can say it when they started really getting on about bathroom laws and trans identity and people using the restrooms, I was so confused because the high school here that I went to, I exclusively peed in the ladies' room for 3 years of my high school career.
To not get bullied.
To not get
probably
bullied.
by the
So-
jocks.
Yeah, or whoever.
Right.
So I'd walk to the bathroom with my girls. So they would walk in. They go, "Hey, everyone, RJ needs to pee," and that's because I didn't want to just intrude. And then I'd go, "Oh, it's just RJ, whatever," and then I'd go in and pee. Teacher saw me go in, come out, and no one, even the female students who probably hated me, never said anything negative about it. So it's still so weird when people are like, "Oh, if a boy goes in that bathroom." Well, guess what? If you're trans-identified, you're male to female, you're not a male. You're a woman. I'm a gay dude. I have no desire to see any of that. Girls showed it to me, and if anyone was being exploited there, it was me.
You're like,
So I didn't understand the argument because my whole high school career I peed in the girls' bathroom because it was just a safer space for me. So you just never know.
I still can't figure out what the hell some of these people think goes on in a bathroom. I'm like, first off, they don't always smell that great. People aren't trying to do whatever your minds are thinking they're trying to do. They're in there to pee
I once
or like
did a lot of
relieve
cocaine in a
themselves.
bathroom. Actually, off the back bathroom at Tequila Bob's. In the
But
men's
okay,
bathroom.
but that's at a
Yeah.
club situation. That kind of shit's normal. And you do see people fucking in bathrooms at a club. I mean,
Yeah.
that happened all the time when I used to go out to clubs, you know, in my 20s. But like, what they think is going on, like in just regular bathrooms, like, is beyond me.
So if that's the first place your brain goes to, that tells me that that's what you would do in that situation.
Maybe like projecting or something. That's
Exactly.
what I think too. I'm like, holy shit, what are you doing in fucking bathrooms? Am I doing shit wrong?
And, you know, I did drag professionally for 7 years. I toured the country. I was lucky enough. And in drag, even at straight bars, I would usually use the ladies' room because they had stalls and there's a lot to unwrap.
And it's cleaner.
Not always.
Oh, really?
Not necessarily in a bar setting. Because most girls
I
like to
like
hover
sporties.
and they get...
Oh yes, that does irritate me because
Yeah.
it's like, at least warn a sister before you're going.
There's
If
toilet
you
paper right
told
there,
me-
girl. If you're hovering.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sop
and
up.
if you're gonna hover, you wipe up afterwards.
Yes. Jesus
you know?
is a biscuit. Sop it up. Clean up. Like,
Exactly.
we're not gonna leave that there. But, and then, as long as one breaks the no poop promise in a bar bathroom, you should be good. But there's always one person who breaks the no poop promise.
And I have, on several occasions, I can't even count them on my fingers and toes, gone into the men's restroom because bitches take too long. So I'm like, I gotta get back out on the dance floor, you know, so I
Yeah.
gotta hurry up. And that's why I don't understand. I'm like, I identify whichever bathroom has the shortest line.
Yeah.
That's what,
Right.
that's what I'm doing.
I mean, who at a concert? You go to a concert and I don't know. Say it's like Bon Jovi or something like that.
God.
like your favorite,
all right.
like your favorite band of all time.
At the Killers, was the women's line longer than the men's?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it had to.
Oh, okay. So we'll use the Killers then.
I feel like with some guys, it's just like pee anywhere. Like, I don't care.
No,
I have to go, I'm gonna go somewhere.
what I'm saying is,
Especially in Vegas.
I'm not
I
missing
peed on
Just
a-
Man Fairy Tale because some
what-
asshole chick
but-
is sitting there checking her makeup.
but what I'm saying is, they don't have a problem if you're in the men's room and a girl walks in to go pee.
They never do. They're always like, they act like they're in the wrong place when anytime I've gone into the men's restroom, they look very confused and like they don't know what to do. And I'm like, I'll be out in a second. All right. Just guard the door.
Times are crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just pee on a tree. Like, don't matter to me.
I used to see a lot of concerts in San Antonio, and a lot of them are like amphitheaters and they are outdoor, and no one went to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
People just find a tree.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I was at a show in Vegas and some guy peed on my leg.
Ew.
Well, we were
Did you pay
crowded.
extra?
I don't even. No, I'm not sure if he peed on me or if it was just water. But we were watching and it was like a sold out show, and I can't remember who it was. But literally, I felt water on my leg, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I looked back, and the guy was just like, "Oh, sorry," and like walked away. And I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
"Like, did the
that
guy
might
just
have
pee
been-
on me, or like he spilled water on me?" So maybe I got peed on.
Oh.
Didn't even get paid for it.
No. That's the worst.
I know.
Hey, what do you think of that Killer show at the
Oh
Cosmo?
my god, I cried.
Yeah.
Cried.
The only thing sketchy about the Cosmopolitan is the way the
Oh
floor.
my god, dude! Because it's like everybody's jumping, and it's like you find that groove, and all of a sudden it's like a trampoline, and it gets off, and then you jump, and then you hit on the wrong area, and you're like, "Oh my god, what was that?" I thought the floor was going to give out numerous times.
Yeah,
I was
I don't know
scared
what they
shitless.
use on the, was it springs or
I don't know.
or whatever.
But the Killers sounded incredible.
The only thing that I went the night after you did, and I must have been like in the VIP section or whatever you give the high rollers, because I was sitting next to two guys that weren't really into it, and they were just the whole time. I was so, shut up. I want to hear him.
How, especially at a band like the Killers, like they've got a ton of good songs.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Even
Almost all the songs on the album are.
Except "Wonderful, Wonderful." That album was not that good.
Samsung is amazing.
Oh, Samsung is amazing. See, the weird thing is like when Battleborn came out, I wasn't a fan. I was just like,
Yeah, that one.
And then, like, now I listen to it and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so good. And Playing the Mirage is pretty good, though, too. The new one, it's good, but it's, like, really
Springsteen-ish.
very depressing.
Yeah.
Springsteen-ish, yeah, it's just, but it's like, it's like I need a moment to listen to that. It's like I can't just throw it on and just be like.
I put on, because I don't have it in front of me, the one song about the police officer and the wife that was getting beaten, so he tracks him out into the desert. I was playing that for my kid. He goes, "Holy shit, this is a dark song."
Oh yeah. Well, if you listen to what's it called? They actually ended up putting out different versions of different songs, and there's one of them that was like a slower song, but now it's like really killersy, and it's way better now. It's so good. But I guess they're bringing out a new album too. Yeah, a new album coming out, and they actually have a new song that's going to be coming out pretty soon.
And we got, what's that, August 27th?
I already got tickets and everything.
26.
Oh, August 26th.
Yep.
Good. And Chris, we're gonna meet up with you that
I'm
night.
gonna bawl my eyes out again. I love the Killers. I love that band so much.
Great live. All right, so back to Pride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So COVID in because it was 2019.
Yeah.
Right.
In 2019, we did 3 events our first year.
Yeah, and then you had 2020 was supposed to be off the rails.
Yeah, 2020, because we were flying high from the success of what 2019 had been. So in 2020, we had businesses approaching us to help sponsor. We were going to do this huge indoor event at the Fieldhouse in Bullhead. We had put out a lot of money. And because we wanted to be Arizona's only air-conditioned Pride, because we did have 3 heat strokes at our original event throughout the day.
Oh, wow.
Just people being dehydrated, and
Not drinking
people thought
water.
people were expecting to come in and hang out for like an hour and a half.
And they
And
stayed
then
all
they stayed
day.
all day, which was
Wow.
beautiful to see.
Right.
Like, especially like younger people, they have a budget of like $20 for the day. And that goes quick at an event. And they thought they would hang out, and then they were there all day in the heat. But, then we had one found child. And 15 minutes we were able to find and secure that child.
Oh, that's good.
So we learned a lot. But 2020 happened, and it was about March. We heard about the shutdowns. We were starting to get kind of nervous. And before anything even happened, as everything was shutting down, like we were told, your money that you spend on this is no longer refundable. The money that you had put down for the event center,
I
no.
cannot believe they wouldn't give you guys your money back. That's so.
But most of our contracts say stuff like that.
Right.
So, because it's not their fault. And they're still a business.
What are they?
So it was
Not doing
It was
anything.
rough, and we weren't sure up until about, I think it was about a month before, when we knew it was not gonna happen. There was just no way, especially here, that it was going to be safe. So 2021, we had already kind of planned on going digital, and we didn't know what that would entail. Because even our business owners here, a lot of them are not digital minded yet. We're kind of behind the rest of the world as far as having companies that are able to quickly get online and do stuff. So we did a very small digital Pride, and it was actually run from the living room of my house, was our ground center for that. And so the fact that we're back and we're doing a 2-day event, we're doing full days, we're really excited. We just hope people are excited as we are.
I'm sure they will be. I think people are ready to get out, and it's what better thing to do than come to that? Like, look at the gas prices. Stay local. Go to Pride. Yeah.
And then even a lot of our
Come to
people,
Pride.
we try to incorporate, Bullhead has an LGBT center, which is incredible. It's run by Jade, and she's the loveliest lady. Havasu, they really don't have anything except for like an informal bar hangout night. So the events that we're doing are kind of the only like really organized and put together events in the area. So a lot of our people come all the way from Needles, Havasu, and Bullhead. But last, excuse me, we had people from Iowa, our first Pride, because they were thinking about moving in.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, and
you never
that
know
was
what
good.
it's
Although, I used to fly back and forth from New England here.
That's a long flight.
Yeah, yeah. I was doing it every 6 weeks. And from the outside, I was like, oh, people are pretty nice in this town. And it got too expensive to fly. My kids were out here, so I moved out here. And it wasn't until I was here till I start realizing, like, how people really are around here. Not everybody, a loud minority of people here.
They just don't realize that they are quickly becoming the minority.
I think that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
They realize that they're becoming the minority.
So I've always been kind of blessed. My family is, my mom is from New Zealand, and she's Maori. My brothers are Polynesian. They're very, very dark. I'm mixed. I'm the only one in my family who's an American citizen, and I'm the only one in my family with this skin color. My brothers and I do not have the same last names, and I will tell you that, except for the being gay stuff, the way that I was treated growing up here was so different than my brothers. And I'm probably the worst behaved out of the three. But my brothers were constantly in detention. They were constantly being accused of stealing or graffiti or all that because they are dark. And people always assumed that we were Hispanic. And we had the superintendent, who my mom got fired. The day that she found out that I was related to my brothers, the way that she treated me completely changed. Because she had no idea that I was not white. So growing up here, like that inherent kind of racism and treating people differently, I saw from being 5 years old. My brothers would be followed around in the store. I never was. It was stuff like that. So it has changed a lot, and I hope that we continue to change. Even being gay and being out and flamboyant, I own my own business. I do not try to closet it up for my customers. I have a pride tattoo right here. I have a pride tattoo right there. I have tattooed eyebrows. And if a customer doesn't want to do business with me because I'm gay, I don't need their money. I just walk away.
Yeah, I told the story on the last podcast we had with Willow of I had my kid's half brother was bisexual, and he was a little bit flamboyant, and he would get picked on a lot. And he eventually moved, met somebody online, which was a really bad idea, and eventually committed suicide. And that's why I have to thank you with pride. And I got kind of really emotional that weekend and saying, God, I wish that he had been around here to see that and the acceptance of that. And my youngest son is, he doesn't know. He doesn't know where he falls in. But it's a struggle for me to see that. And, he obviously got proud of me, came to me and said, I feel this way. I'm like, well, hey, I'm going to love you no matter what. And it doesn't matter. The only thing that I struggle with is how is he going to be treated, because he'll be a junior next year, and he wants to be like, well, I want to be a little more flamboyant in my clothes and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. But as the dad, you gotta go, well, I know how this town is, and knowing what happened to your brother, you don't want to repeat that kind of thing. And I think Pride this year will be good for him because he's kind of a shy little kid. And
So
I say little kid, but he's a junior. But
even last year we did smaller events. We did like a Pride in the Park, I think in July last year at the Splash Pad. And about 75 people showed up. It was really small. It was just very informal, like, hey, let's all hang out, bring pizzas, whatever. And out of the 75, about 50 of them were teenage kids, high school. And seeing those kids be so accepting of each other in their groups. And they kind of sat like 25 feet away from the old people. But just being able to watch them know, and they were all together, and boys holding hands, girls and girls. There was a polyamorous couple. It was just really cool seeing them have a place to interact. From Pride 2019, I have a group of kids who reached out to me online who are all teenagers, probably between 16 and 17 at the time. And it was just having an adult who was a good role model who they could talk to. And I'd say, well, we can't talk about certain things. I'm not your parent. I don't need to be in trouble. But it was certain stuff about I need to have a conversation with my parents. And if I had had that growing up here, it would have been the biggest difference. If I had known, my parents would not have let me go to Pride. But just knowing that that event was here would have been groundbreaking, because you don't feel alone when you know that there's other people. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I did make an attempt on, well, multiple, on my life from depression and growing up in a strictly religious home and being out. But I was able to survive that mostly because I have great friends. And if we can stop one kid from having to tattoo their arm because their scars are so deep, then we've saved a life. And that makes the work, the money, and the time worth it. Because I didn't have that growing up here.
Yeah, I think kids are a lot more accepting of people, much more than the adults
Yeah.
around here. I mean, in the day, you love who you love. What does it matter to anybody?
And then I don't understand, like my parents still have kind of a hard time with Pride because they see what conservative media shows as Pride. And my mother, at the first event, because she was a vendor, she was planning on setting up and leaving. Because she goes, I don't want to be around all this. I go, Mom, that's not what it's about.
Booty shorts.
Is that
and
is
everything.
that with
And
the
float.
guys with their wingers hanging out and then just like smacking people
Or
on the foreheads
the
with
leather
it
and
and
the
the leather
No, there's like I've been
and the
to,
glitter?
I've been to Folsom
Too much
Street,
glitter.
and Folsom really is, it is leather, it is kink, it is dirty. Folsom is not a child-friendly thing. You cannot buy, you're carded at any entrance to Folsom. It is not Pride. Folsom is a kink fest.
Yeah.
And it's mostly gay and leather and dom and all that. It's amazing. But that's not what most prides are. Some pride parades, they get a little bit raunchier, like Vegas Pride. They have 2 parades. Their nighttime parade is not really kid friendly.
Oh yeah.
But they tell you, this is the adult parade.
And
So I
how
think it's
could you
just
expect
Fremont
anything
Street's
less
not really
in
kid
Vegas?
approved.
No.
Anyways, so
And that's where they do their pride parade.
Yeah.
Right, is
Right.
right off
it's like
Fremont.
might see some chick with pasties or a guy shooting up over in the corner. You never know what you're gonna see on Fremont Street.
It's in the name. It's literally called Sin City. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
But, Fox News Media or whatever, they're not going to show a picture of Pride of, when we have, every year we have an opening prayer done by a non-denominational church just for peace and acceptance. And they're not going to show that video. They're not going to show a video of kids that are learning annex, learning about self-defense or our morning meditation yoga. They're going to look for the scene that's going to get them viewers.
Yeah.
They're going to show the dirty, they're going to show that. And I go, Mom's like, well, I don't want to see any of that. I go, you go into concerts though, right? And she goes, yeah. I go, how many girls were topless at your music concerts? When you go to Coachella,
Oh yeah.
there's nipples
Oh
everywhere.
my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's no different than going to Pride and seeing a couple boys in booty shorts. Frankly, I'd rather see guys in booty shorts than lady nipples everywhere. But teach their own.
Yeah.
Well, and some of the shows that are quote unquote like straight shows, they don't treat the girls very nice. Like if you watch the Woodstock documentary, the last
Well,
Woodstock,
yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah,
they
I was
were
there.
like, I mean, like physically attacking girls.
Fire Fest.
So it's
there
like
was-
that's more appropriate
There
though.
was like a group of 40 girls who basically had to link arms because they said the guys would not stop touching them.
Right.
And that's at a straight musical festival. And that the women didn't feel safe and there was no rides out. So they huddled up, arms and hands, to sleep. That way none of them were left behind. You don't have to do that at Pride.
Yeah.
To bring this back kind of full circle a little bit. there's like a lot of backlash of, that from right-wing media that the teachers are trying to indoctrinate youth. But why would you want those people to have the guns and trust those people? You don't trust them to teach your kids. You don't trust them to protect them.
I know. Like, I have a teacher friend, and she was saying that they were like, yeah, we want to indoctrinate the students to actually do their homework, to come to school. I mean, like, we would be focusing on this stuff if we were trying to indoctrinate children. That's what we would be focusing on. Getting kids to actually fucking pay attention and learn.
I don't understand that logic of, well, if they see this, it's going to happen. I mentioned earlier, I'm a Disney nerd. I grew up watching Disney movies, had the biggest crush on Hercules for many, many years. I did not grow up straight, and I did not marry a semi-goddess, or whatever you call them. I'm still gay. And I grew up watching nothing but straight media and listening to straight music. I don't think I even knew queer music existed until I was 26 or 27. And it was underground. I was like, oh my God, there's bands that write songs about being a boy who loves boys. So now I listen to mostly queer music. That's something that I didn't get to experience as a kid because it wasn't available. I don't think that there's more gay people. I don't think that there's younger gay people. I think that we have names and resources available at a higher rate. That's the only difference. Now, kids can see themselves as represented in the media. It's not that we're turning anyone gay. You're giving someone the tools to figure out who they are.
Right. I mean that goes back to Judas Priest.
I was just going to say something like that.
Like Rob Halford.
He's a metal guy.
Yeah. Did 1987? Did anybody go? He's going to turn our kids gay. It was more like he's gay, and then you were just like, oh, yeah, he's gay.
Like a rock god. They were like, yeah, they were.
It's Rob Halford.
They were.
But there was no backlash to Rob Halford when he came out.
I don't think Rob Halford would have given a shit.
Or even before them. Liberace.
Oh, yeah.
How did you look at someone like Liberace or Elton John in the 80s and think, wow, he must be getting so much puss on the weekends? No, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Or Freddie Mercury.
And who was that guy in Hollywood Squares? Now I'm really good to date myself. He was really flaming. Was it Charles Nelson Riley? Or no, that's not.
Oh, was it the guy?
That's like
Paul Lynde.
Paul
Lynde, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like that Jim J. Bullock or something.
Oh yeah, him too.
He was on Hollywood Squares too.
I don't know. You'd feel like with so much shit going on in the world, like people being angry about gays or Pride Fest. It's like, because I've seen all the comments and stuff that people post on it. I'm just like, this is so fucking ridiculous. It's like, actually, me and my wife were talking about it. It's like, it seems like music and movies and everything was far more dirtier in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, now it's like,
a good example, I was watching a clip of All in the Family today. Archie Bunker, there's no way you could get away with what he would say.
But Archie Bunker,
I know,
All in the Family
right?
also had one of the first trans characters ever put on national television.
And fun fact about Archie Bunker, the actor.
Well, yeah.
Big, huge fucking liberal. Like, people don't. He actually moved to the Mediterranean, I think, when he retired, and he had a son that I think died of a drug overdose. So he was a huge advocate for something against drugs back in the day. I had read up on him because I was like, people kept saying all this stuff, so I was anytime people say stuff, I'd go do my research, and I'm like, oh, you guys probably shouldn't look at this about Archie Bunker since you're liking to make your memes. You're probably not going to want to see all this.
Even that go into the 80s, like a movie like 48 Hours, I don't think you could do 48 Hours today. Just because of the language in it.
I was born in 86, so I don't think I remember that movie.
So you only see
Well, you
48.
definitely couldn't do like Blazing Saddles.
Oh, no.
So
Lily Von
good.
Stuck. My mom and I sang I'm So Tired to each other back and forth for most of my youth growing up. And it wasn't until I was 13 that I realized what that song was about. And I realized that's not a song you should sing to your mother.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, Richard Pryor and Mel Brooks wrote that. It's so crazy.
But Mel Brooks had a lot of History of the World,
Oh, yeah.
part 1, 2, and 3 are amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, what's it called? So our violin player Paul, who actually lives right there.
Oh,
Well,
really?
yeah. We were somehow we got
Who's
on
the
the
neighbor?
yeah we were somehow gone like Mel Brooks and just comedy. Have you ever heard Mel Brooks' stand up about the 2,000-year-old man? Oh my God, it's live and he's playing someone that's been around for 2,000 years and the guy and you can tell it's like probably early 60s, you know, and it's just fucking incredible. Like Mel Brooks is a fucking comedy genius, man, and. Yeah, that was basically the story. I don't really know where it was going from there.
I was so proud of my youngest. He was in there watching Netflix in his room. I went in and what are you watching? And he was like, History of the World. I'm like, yes.
It's such. I love those movies because they're so a big word insert there.
Representation?
Relevant?
Irreverent.
Reverent? Irreverent?
Yeah, reverent.
I was like,
Words are tough.
it's like, were the characters on, what was it, Sesame Street or what?
Yeah, you gotta sound it out. One. But the humor holds up. But a lot of those jokes were written in a way that they're not necessarily demeaning any one person or stereotype because everybody's a target. And there's a few moments that now would not get past the censor. But I never watched those movies and felt dirty about the humor or, oh, that's mean. It was just, that's hilarious. I love that stuff.
No, I think you have to treat comedy a little bit different, you know. And the only thing that I do like the cancel culture shit is when it gets to comedians and stuff like that. Especially if you go into Kevin Hart and saying, "Oh, you made this tweet back in 2012," you know, come on.
It was the whole like Dave Chappelle thing about the trans,
No.
like how he's
Yeah.
a transphobe, and it's like, did you not watch the special?
Did you not?
Did you watch it
watch a
till the
special?
end?
Like he talks about how great of a friend that person was, and that he's like, you know, and it's just I don't
And
know.
he is a
People are
he
so
is
quick to judge, like they don't.
himself going to deliver the help me out with that the savings thing that he has for
Yeah,
his friend's daughter.
Yeah,
right.
When she turns 18, he wants to hand deliver it to. I was blown away because they're all sitting there talking about the whole punching down, and I'm like, but he actually talked about punching down in the special. I don't think he hung around to the end to see it.
Because you want to fight before you get contact.
You turned your brain off midway through, and then you decided to come up with whatever theory you thought happened that didn't fucking happen.
Right, and listen to that. You know, that's particularly special. I didn't find some of what he was saying was particularly funny, but I was like going, okay, because knowing Chappelle, you're going, where's he going with this story? Where's he going?
He's not a comedian like that, though. If you watch him on anything, like, he always has stories to tell. That's what's so brilliant about his comedy, too, is like when he came back and did the Saturday Night Live thing and brought up the thing about Frederick Douglass being invited to the White House under FDR and all that, and it gets really serious in part of it, but then there's always like a funny outcome, because isn't that the way that life is? Like, we deal with some real shit, but you have to find a funny solution. That's why I don't understand when people are sitting there saying stuff like, there's just certain things you don't joke about. No, you should be able to joke about anything if it helps in the healing process.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a believer in
Well,
that.
it's like after 9/11 happened, what comedian was it? He ended up like
With Bill Maher?
was it Bill Maher? He ended up making like some 9/11 joke.
No, he said something to the effect of,
I think it was about the religion, the extreme.
but it had to do with
and
the
it was,
pilots.
but it was taken out of
and-
context.
Was it Allah is my co-pilot?
Well, it was something about, well, those were really brave people for fighting for their cause because they were willing. I might be taking this out of context, but yeah, no, he got heat for that.
But what do you say when didn't he? I don't know if he's from New York, But
He's from Jersey.
okay, New York
Ugh.
is kind of like America's real capital. I mean, they always say it's Washington D.C., but it's like the I Heart New York, and people take it personally. And if they made a joke like that, it was because out of their anger or whatnot. Like that's how I took it. Is like, what do you say when something like that happens?
Yeah.
What?
You can say it was an inside job.
See, and then
What about Tower 7?
And then
What about
people-
Tower 7?
Right, and that is weird. There are weird things about that day. You know, it's
Well, it just sucks for just like all the cab drivers and stuff, like the Indian cab drivers, and just ridiculous, man.
it sucks
a really
for the people
shitty
that
time.
had to fucking jump
Yeah,
out of that building too.
My boss was
They made so much money off
Oh yeah,
my boss was Middle Eastern at the time.
at the time he
But
was Middle
but
Eastern.
well,
Now he's not.
well no.
Now
I
he's
don't
Italian.
know if he's around anymore.
Or Italian.
He's Indian.
He got one.
He's Indian. Anyway, he had to put a big American flag in his rear window. I think just from the harassment he got after.
Oh yeah.
And some of it still didn't even work. I mean,
Oh,
look
there
at,
was riots and stuff too, man.
look at like that that thing that actually changed my views on capital punishment because the guy in Texas who targeted Middle Eastern people. Well, he thought that they were Muslims. Because he's from Texas, he didn't. He's ignorant, but he actually hurt people who were Indian. He killed one of them, and then he seriously wounded the other two people. He went and targeted different convenience stores, and he got the death penalty because it's Texas. And the people who he targeted ended up becoming like his biggest advocates to save his life. And at first he still fought him, like he was still like, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. But they were like he's like, look, you're not going to be able to change this. I live in Texas. They're going to kill me. And he was right. But I'm like, you know what? If those people can forgive, like, why am I not? That should show people things. No.
The other thing about that George Carlin special, and you're looking back on what he was saying, is you also realize how he was talking about Ronald Reagan and how nothing has really changed over the last 40, 50 years. We're kind of still the same. We're all dealing with the same issues: guns, God, abortions, all this other
Our own
crap.
president that did inside deals.
I think it's more like the social media.
Ironic.
The social media has just blown it up, so everybody has a voice out there. And for the most part, I think most people are good, and the very small minority, because I do read the comments on Facebook when you're talking about pride and how dare you have this in our town, and
So my favorite is they always say, I don't want that parade. Well, good news, we're not doing a parade, we're just renting the park. And then they go, well, I'm gonna call the city. So even though we're a nonprofit, we never actually take advantage of getting the nonprofit rates for anything that we do. Because there have been stories, not necessarily in Lafayette County, of other organizations that enough people have called and they pulled a permit because it was a discounted permit or because it was slipped through or was okay. We purposefully pay every cent, dot every I, cross every T. That way nobody can ever do that to us.
do you want anything to do with lawyers at all?
We have a couple lawyers and paralegals that are kind of in the outsprings. So whenever stuff happens, we send stuff to them to see what our best course of action is. We've been lucky enough, even though the city clerks here might not be our biggest supporters, I've been in the office when they've taken the phone calls and they go, well, sir, they paid. They had their insurance and their permits pulled before they applied. We can't discriminate against them.
The law is the law.
And then they go, well, we don't want our tax dollars paying for this. And she goes, well, you're not. They're privately funded. They came in with a check. So the city pays
Can you imagine being in that frame of mind of being a Karen like that to like, I'm going to call the town and shut this thing down?
But they will shut down Annie Devine. They will shut down 66 for 2 weeks to do the street drags. 2 full weeks of Route 66 are shut down.
When it's only so many days of racing, it's not
And
even
the
all
city, now,
Right.
The private companies do sponsor a lot of that. The city also pays a good chunk of that. We don't shut down any roads for any of our events. We rent a public park, which we are not allowed to blockade. We're not allowed to stop people from coming in, but we're just paying for the use of it. We have to pay for our own insurance. We usually pay extra to have both bathrooms open, and then we usually pay for extra bathrooms out of pocket. So we work so hard and so vigorously at making sure that we are on top of everything, just so we can't be faulted.
Right, and then they say, well, I don't want my child to go to that. Well, then don't let your child go to that.
Don't.
Well, what
bring
if
your
the child does go to it? What's gonna happen?
So
Oh no!
I always invite them. I go, well, come check it out.
That's
it's a
what I
free
would
event.
do. I'd be like, why don't you come first, and then you can judge
Yeah.
the event and be like,
So, like,
terrible.
On that one note, though, the one thing that, if I was disappointed in anything with the last Pride Festival, was
how dare you? No.
no the lack of representation from any of our town officials to show up there that day.
We had a few church leaders, but we did not have, and they were all invited, and not a single one came.
Well, they need
That's
to win
ridiculous.
elections,
I ended up
so
getting
they're
an
not going
argument
to.
back in the day about all that shit. Like when the whole gay marriage got, or when they were legalizing gay marriage, it's like, had a friend who's a preacher and stuff, and he's like, oh, well, you know, I have gay people that come to my church all the time. I just won't marry them. And I'm just like, so you'll take their money to fund your church, but you're not going to marry them? I'm like, that's a piece of shit, dude. Like that's fucking stupid.
You know, he should talk to you because you were saying before, like, if you don't like who I am, then don't use my services. I'm not going to make a stink about it. I'm not going to go and like blast you anywhere,
I know,
but just
yeah.
go use other services.
And I've been back in Kingman for 7 years. Before I started my business, I did the same job for somebody else. And in 7 years, I want to say I had one customer who, after I'd left, called my boss and said, I don't appreciate you sending some faggots to my house.
Wow.
And my boss, I was on my way back, I didn't even know about this until later, said, well, then we don't need your money. And he goes, well, you can send someone else out. And she goes, he's my best employee. He's our best designer that we have. We hired him because he's gay. Which I was like, well, that's a little offensive. But okay. And she goes, so if you didn't think that he was up to the job, I don't have anyone else to send you because he's the expert in what you're looking for. So, and she actually gave him a referral to another company in Havasu, and from what I understand, he called them. They were too busy to come out, and I don't know if he ever got his window treatments. So,
I say fuck them.
it was no sweat off my
How
back.
come he's got no shade?
Yeah, he can go to one of the big box stores and get something off the rack, and that's cool. But that's my philosophy. I have been fighting just to be accepted my whole life. Now that I'm a business owner, I'm not going to fight for you to accept my business because I have enough business already. I'm already working 60 hours a week. Me saying no to one job means I might get a day off. Actually, I should do it more often.
Right?
But
Hey, so Chris, do you have anything else left to plug?
Love the plug?
Yeah. So what you got coming up? You got when's the 90s?
Well, I think we might be doing the '90s show. We're talking about it. I'm already like learning a ton of stuff right now.
How come
When's the 90s
How come you didn't do the 80s show?
How come we didn't do the A show?
Yeah.
Well, because I double booked it. Because we ended up setting up a recording time for recording for our Ghost of Murder, and instead of me putting on like a calendar. I just was like, oh yeah, we could do it. And then when it came down to it, but the good thing is we let everyone know like a month in advance, like, oh, hold on, we screwed up.
And Ghost of Murder, do they have an album out now?
We should be getting all of our final mixes back within the next week or two.
And will that be on all the streaming services?
Well, once we get it done, I think we're going to put it out like a CD and stuff. I know we were talking about doing CDs and vinyl, but I mean, basically, we'll put it out on Spotify because we already have stuff on Spotify as it is right now. I mean, I still have a ton of music on my phone that hasn't been released yet. It's all finished. So,
Any other music projects going on?
no, that's just it. Swillers and Ghostwood.
Takes up a lot of time.
I mean, I was once doing like 5 or 6 bands at one time.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, that was a lot of work.
That's a lot.
It sucks.
Yeah, how do you find rehearsal time?
I was rehearsing every day. Yeah. Good thing is everybody rehearsed at my house, so I didn't have to go anywhere.
There you go. Yeah, so when we do our booth, you got to invite the other members of the Swillers to come up and talk to us. Because we've tried to get them on before, but scheduling never works.
Yeah, just come say hi because I know you guys are busy.
Well, I can talk for hours, man. Just let me talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Anytime you want. Yeah.
You're welcome.
You got
You're
an open
I
invite
think
here.
Pride Fest is gonna be fun. I'm sure it's gonna be really good.
Yeah. And
You hope so.
Snow broke our phone, so we couldn't, have our usual. We usually do like meetings and stuff like that via text and stuff like that, so we kind of know what we're going to talk about and stuff like that. But she broke her phone, so I couldn't be in communication with her all week long.
I know. It was kind of good being out of the news loop, like not knowing what was going on. I'm like,
How many days were you out?
ignorance is bliss.
How many days were you out a phone?
Like maybe like 4 or 5.
Did you kind of feel like lost at all, or were you just like,
No.
hell yeah?
No,
This is awesome.
I was like, I thought it was great. I'm like, you know what? I should schedule my phone time to take a break from your phone because we get so wrapped up in
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing and
Yeah.
it's like,
It's my life.
Well,
and
yeah.
there are things that I really like about it. Like the thing that I started thinking about, like the most important thing was, oh my God, one thing that I really like from COVID is not having to go to the grocery store.
Oh,
So I can do
amen.
the grocery thing and you order
DoorDash,
ahead.
Instacart, everything.
That is the thing that I was like starting to get the most panic attack about. I'm like, I don't want to have to go back in the grocery store. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's down in the aisle.
I live in Bullhead, and if I set my DoorDash order, and if I submit it when I pass the bridge, it's usually getting to my house as I pull into my warehouse.
You've got yours down to a time, then you're even better
I
than
will
me,
get my whole
man.
list ready first thing in the morning, and save it. And then on my way home, I'm like, ooh. And they're usually, I'm pulling into my warehouse,
You're like,
and they're
right on
right behind
time.
me.
I know, like, it's one of the things I really like. So I'm like, God, there's things that I miss about it, but yeah, there's so much that I hate about it too.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you know.
I know Snow's the type like whenever we go out in Vegas to a show or something like that, she'll leave her phone in the hotel. And I was like,
I hate
Yeah,
it. I
are you
wanna
leaving your
focus-
phone?
I want to focus on,
can't- I
and I
can't
don't
do
want to
that.
lose it. Like, I don't want to lose it, but I want to focus. And
I'd get
I have
lost.
this-
I'd be like, I don't know where I'm at. Where's all my friends?
No, I
I have no way to
this
call.
rule.
I don't know their numbers.
Yeah.
I have this rule with all my friends, so I'm like, dude, when we go out, like, you're gonna be in charge and taking all the pictures and selfies and whatnot, because I just come along for the fun. Like, that's what I did. I don't want to be responsible for all that stuff. I'm like,
We have 43 acres up in Snowflake, and no reception. So whenever I go up there, it means like 3 or 4 days without my phone. And I always hate it for the first like 6 hours.
and then you get used to
And then I go to sleep, and I wake up with no alarm, and there's no messages, and no bank alerts. It's amazing.
retirement is gonna be so magical.
I don't think I'll ever be retired.
yeah, I don't think I'll ever
Get
retire.
there.
Even
Yeah,
in death, I'll still be
Yeah.
working.
yeah. Sad
I don't know
reality
what I
stuff.
do without my phone. So it's like I got all my band stuff, and then it's like I got Disney Plus, and then I got HBO, and I got all my movie apps.
Because
I just started
I don't-
Obi-Wan, and I'm like,
How
Oh,
did we
Obi-Wan.
go to the bathroom before cell phones became.
I don't know, dude. I tell people,
No.
you want
It's good
most
reading
of the
material.
most of the music I've ever learned has been in the bathroom. It's the only time I get a chance to do anything. It's like in there, and I'm just like, all right, what
Complete
song?
privacy.
How is this song? Okay, I see how you guys playing it. All right, I got it.
Yeah.
I'll learn it when I get out. I'm done. I'm serious. Most of the time, it's like if we do the '90s show and everybody's listening and they go, "Oh man, that's a great song," be like, I bet Chris learned that in the bathroom. 90% I
On the
did.
crapper.
On the crapper, I learned that in the bathroom.
Fuck, all right, anything else? Ronnie, thank you for coming on.
I'm sorry it took me 6 weeks to get here.
No, thank you.
Well, no,
Well,
but
we
but
understand though now. We're so busy.
Yeah, working 60 hours.
We're blessed to be
another.
busy.
Yeah.
And this is our first year. We'll be at a year next month. So the fact that most of our business is referrals and client updates. So we're very blessed.
Okay, just a question. Okay, so the screens, how well do they do during the winter?
So you have two options. Now during the winter, they're going to block any heat that you have coming in.
Okay.
So a lot of people do take them down if you're looking at getting that passive heat. But you get used to this amount of daytime privacy from having the screens up.
Okay, because I know me and Holly were talking about doing like a couple windows, but I was wondering because like during the winter she likes to keep the house as cold as she possibly can, which is horrible.
Then they'll keep your house freezing.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
So she's definitely gonna try and kill me.
Yeah. I keep my house very, very
Hey,
gosh.
plug that business.
Yeah.
While we're at it.
Oh, Kiwi Screens, etc. You can find us on Facebook at Kiwi Screens, etc. or online at kiwiscreens.com.
And what's your area work?
Kiwi because of the New Zealand
Because we're
thing?
from New Zealand.
Cool.
And
That's supposed to be the safest place for
I'm-
climate change.
Oh, yeah. Because it's already cool.
And you probably already have a place to go if shit really hits the fan, right?
So my family, because we're Maori, my family actually owns most of, if we put all our lots together, we own most of Mount, I cannot pronounce anything in Maori. We own most of Mount Hikurangi, which Mount Hikurangi is technically the very first populated area on the daytime schedule. So we're the first New Year's in the world.
Oh, wow, cool.
Oh, so you guys just think you're so much better than everybody else, then, huh?
You get to celebrate it first.
So that's hard math, but like basically most of my family is a day ahead, subtract 5 hours.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then add post-meridian time change, I don't know what it is.
No, that's time changes. I hate time changes. Why can't we all just be on the same time? America is on one time, everybody else is on a different time because they're across the
I
ocean.
know. Well, and I came from back east, so I always have to like, okay,
3 hour
for
difference.
for 6 months, this person's on this time, and you always have to before you call.
Yeah, it's
them
like, what
out,
time is it? 7 o'clock?
there?
Oh, yeah, they're
From
3
here in
hours ahead.
Texas. And the first year that we did time change, I went, what? How are you supposed to know this?
Yeah.
And they go, what happens every year? And I go, no. I live in Arizona.
I know. I'm an Arizona native, and I remember in high school going to my mom and going, "Mom, did you know that people have to turn their clocks back an hour and then move them up?" I'm like, "What?" And she's just kind of laughing.
And I was like, you live next to Laughlin. I go, Laughlin advertises their movies in Arizona time.
Yeah.
Because they advertised
never
in the
thought
King
about
Danny
that.
Minor and stuff. So I never really, up until I was driving, I had no idea there was a
Right.
difference.
Yeah.
I remember when I moved to Philadelphia, it's like I was so used to going to bed at like 10 o'clock that it was like 3 hours ahead. So by that time it was like 10, like 1 o'clock, and I'm just like, I'm not tired. It's 10 o'clock here, but still used to Arizona time.
I have to go to Indiana for 6 weeks this summer. I'm gonna be like, oh, what am I doing?
The first time I went to New Zealand, I was only 7, and I immediately jumped onto their time change. And when I came back, I was an insomniac for 3 months because I couldn't switch. It was horrible. Now I just drink on the plane and I'm okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I have that timing down. Is you have 2 beers, and before you get on the plane, you take one of those little mini bottles and you pour it in the Coke.
In the beer.
No. In the Coke, you take the Coke onto the plane. I know that's violating FAA rules. But then I will sleep the entire flight.
I just won't get on the plane.
You don't like planes?
Nope.
How'd you get to Philadelphia?
I drove 2.5 days. That was in the late '90s. Me and my mom, and that's when No Doze had like a veteran or whatever the hell it is. And
so-
I was hopped up on that shit.
So you did the reverse Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You went from here to there.
Oh yeah, and then I rode a
Philly.
Greyhound bus back.
Oh, that must have
Oh, it
sucked.
was great. I loved it. It was so much fun.
Every time I've been on a Greyhound bus, somebody breaks the no poop promise. So
Oh yeah, I just went to the bathrooms at the like little ports where you stop at and stuff. So
Oh, yeah, rest stop.
yeah, rest stops or wherever it was.
Hey, so we'll wrap it up. Who else is involved with Pride this year? Give a shout out to the other people that are making this happen.
Oh, so our